Hey everybody, it's Jason with the Board Game Mechanics, and today we're going to take a look at a game called 13 Clues. 13 Clues is a game published by DV Games, designed by, I'm going to try to say this name, Andres Vioicu. I'll just show you so you can take a look at it. I'm terrible with names. Plays 2 to 6 players in, 30 minutes. Probably all accurate. And effectively what you're doing in this game is there any theme? London, 1899. The city is shaken by heinous crimes and the solutions are shrouded in mystery. Scotland Yard is groping in the dark and has summoned you, the best detectives, for help in resolving their inquiries. Each investigator will be assigned their own mystery to solve and must use their instincts to identify which of the 13 clues match their case before the others do. So that's the theme. Effectively what you're doing in this game is you are trying to figure out the clues that are on the outside of your player screen. Everybody has a player screen. We're going to have 2 clues inside that we can see that other people can't see. And we're going to have 3 clues on the outside of our board that we can't see that everyone else can see. And we're trying to figure out, using all the clues that we can see of everybody else, R2, some that are in the middle of the table, what our 3 clues on the front of our board is. That's basically it. It's kind of like Sleuth meets Clue-ish, but a little bit simpler. So that's enough talking. Let's go to the table. Check it out. All right, so here's a game of 13 clues, all set up for 3 players. So in a 3-player game, we're not going to be using the gray, brown, and white cards. So that's 9 cards that are removed from the game. So we'll only be using these cards here. So to set up, each player is going to get a sheet. I've only given the sheets to this because these players, I'm just going to show you how it works. And a magnifying glass. Did I give this one a magnifying glass? I did. Okay, and a magnifying glass. Okay. And then you're going to deal each player one weapon, which is going to have either a bow and arrow or a hatchet, a location, which is either a tree or a house, and a character, which is either a lady icon or a female icon or a male icon. And then shuffle all the rest of the cards together after everybody's been dealt one of those, and then deal each player 2 more. Then each player is going to look at their 5 cards. They're going to put 2 of them, put 1 location, weapon, and person out in front of their screen face down, and then put the other 2 cards back here facing them. And then once everybody's done that, they're going to put the cards that they put out in front of them to the player on their left. So you already know those cards, so that's going to be the person's clues that they're trying to figure out. So we've done that. So this person's trying to figure out that they have the dancer, the park, and the sword. This person's trying to figure out they have the countess, museum, and poison. And then I'm trying to figure out what I have on my board, which I'm not going to tell you because you need to know. But I do know that I have that these 2 things are not it. I know that those 3 things are not it. I know these 3 things are not it. So what I would do first off is I would cross off everything that I can see. And I'm going to try to do this. I can't really see. So let's just lay down my screen for a second. So I know it's not the knife or the pistol, also known as the gun. So gun, knife, which is purple. And I know it's not the sword, park, dancer, and then countess, museum. So I know I don't have any green. Museum and poison. Museum is yellow. All right. And then once we've done all that, we're ready to go. I believe you should have 13 clues left after all that is done. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we're trying to figure out our 3 clues from the remaining 13 clues. All right, everybody else has done that. And now we're ready to go. So I'm not going to play this game too much because it's hard to kind of simulate this with just one player playing, but I'm at least going to tell you what you can do on your turn. So on your turn, there's going to be these cards here that you can see what you're going to do. On your turn, you can ask somebody for a clue. So if I would say I want to ask that player, I give them the magnifying glass. So they now have 2 magnifying glasses. And then I'm going to ask them about one of the suits or one of the categories. So I would say, how many green cards can you see? Or how many females can you, or people can you see, that kind of thing. So let's say I ask them about green cards. So they look at it. I need to see what they have behind their board. Okay. So they would look around and they would say, I see, well, that's a dumb question because I can see all three of those. How about yellow? So we're going to ask about yellow. So they look around and they can say they see 2 yellows. All right, so I know I can see 1. So I know that second one can either be on the front of mine or behind their screen because I can only see 1 yellow. Okay, so that's the first clue. Second is you can peek at one of the cards in the center of the table. And when you use the magnifying glass for this, you're going to give it to the player that has a player that has 0. If everybody has some, you're going to put it back in the middle. So let's say I did that. And then I'm going to look at one of the cards in the middle. I would look at it and I would mark that off. So now I know that that is not on the front of my deck here, or my board. Then the last action you can take is you can do an accusation. When you think you know what your 3 cards are, you can make an accusation. You can discard all of your magnifying glasses or give them to somebody that has 0. But if it's all the same, discard them. And then you're going to make your accusation. If you're right, you win. If not, people just say no and you keep playing. That's kind of how that goes down. Right? And you're going to spend all of your magnifying glasses on your turn when you're taking action. So if I have 3, I could do these first 2, a couple times each. But if you're going to do the accusation, you might want to do that last because you're going to discard all of your magnifying glasses. Then if you don't have a magnifying glass at the beginning of your turn, you're going to take one so you can at least do one thing on your turn and then keep going. And you're going to keep playing like that until someone has figured out the 3 clues on their board and they win the game. And that's how you play 13 clues. Let's go up the top, see what they think about it. All right, well, that was 13 clues. So there's not a ton of components in this box, but I'll show them to you a little bit. So this is the player screen. And then on the back, I don't know how well you can see that, but it has space for the 2 cards right there. So that's it. That's the player screen. There's enough of those. Really nice pencils. I like when the games come with pencils. That makes it exciting for me. Here's all the cards with the art. So the weapons and the people. I don't know if I have them upside down. I can't really tell. Location and colors. So yeah, it's just great art, great production on these. These magnifying tokens are really cool. Could have been anything, but they're really cool. There is an advanced variant in here, which I haven't done. It brings in these little tokens. I probably won't ever play it like this because I'm terrible at deduction. But if you want a different kind of challenge, there's some cool little tokens in here for that. But basically what I showed you is how the game's going to work, more or less, no matter how you play. Rulebook is 1 page front and back, so that's how easy this game is to learn. And most of the game is just playing, trying to do deduction. So this is a really fun game. I'm terrible at deduction. I've gone over that many times. That should be no surprise to anybody who watches these videos. This one's more my speed. It's a simpler kind of deduction. The problem that I have with deduction is when people ask questions or learn information, I'm not good at inferring what the answers to those questions or what the people's questions should be telling me about my own situation. So this one still has that same kind of deal. I'm still pretty bad at it, but I can at least fumble my way through. I have won this once, which feels good, but it's just that jump in logic, which is tough for me in these games. But even in spite of all that, I still have a good time with this, and it can play 6 people, which is nice. So if you have more than 3, a 5-player group, you don't want to play some big heavy game, it's going to take forever, you can bust this out and play a couple games of this in about an hour. So I'm going to give this a BGM Accept the Seal. This is going to get a 7 out of 10 on BGG, which is a 3.5 out of 5 wrenches on an arbitrary wrench scale. That means absolutely nothing, but we like to give it the games that we enjoy, and that is what I am going to do. So that is 13 clues from DB Games. I'm Jason with the Board Game Mechanics, and as always, keep gaming.